What's up, everyone? This is RJ Game News USA here, back today with another video. And today we're going to talk about WWE Night of Champions 2025. And I got a lot of thoughts on that. So if you like this kind of content and want to support, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's talk about it. Now, if you're looking for like a full, in-depth review, this is not the right place. I feel like I want to give you the 40,000 view foot of what the hell was that, and why WWE Champions is totally misbooked, totally done wrong, and what should be different. So let's get into it. First of all, none of these matches were good except the main event. Nothing mattered, nothing felt important, nothing felt special except for CM Punk versus John Cena. So in that match there was a lot of, a lot of people coming out. Seth Rollins, his group, and a tease and a cash in. Anyway, it ended about as you expect. Cena winning. I'm fine with it. I fully expect Cena to hold this belt to his final match anyway. I don't think, unless they want to throw a wrench or surprise at us, that there's any reason not to. But that's what's really missing in wrestling these days. Shock and surprise and awe. Everything is so safe, sanitized, and corporate. But the name Night of Champions used to mean something. It used to mean every single title in one night would be defended. Not even WrestleMania does that anymore. This show had almost no titles defended. It had some weird-ass King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring finals going on. Guys, I'm going to get into how to fix King of the Ring here in a second. But Night of Champions should be the night where every single title is defended. And if you say, oh, that's too many matches, you'd be correct, because there's too many fucking titles. Really should only have one tag team division, one women's division, one mid-card title, and one world champion. The brand split should die and die forever. Okay? That's not to mean you can't build storylines that are more SmackDown or Raw focused. But you come together for these pay-per-views with Raw stars, SmackDown stars. You have these storylines where they already cross over all the time anyway. Ditch the fucking brand split. For the love of God. Finally have unification matches for some of these titles. And never, and I mean ever, bring back the brand split again, as Jericho would say. So Night of Champions could have been used as a night to unify belts. But let's say it's not. And WWE's got like 10 championships. Okay, then you have a long 10-match show in Saudi. I'm sure they'd be happy over there. It's a mistake that CM Punk is fighting John Cena at this event to begin with. As awesome as it was, it would be a lot more awesome if that was Cena's final opponent. Or it'd be a lot more awesome if this happened in Chicago. So totally dropped the ball there, all in the name of globalism though. For WWE, all in the name of making money over actually adding value and what's best for business content-wise. Why the fuck do you think we're having WrestleMania again in Las Vegas? That is so lame, so boring, and ridiculous to have WrestleMania in the same city 2 years in a row. They're greedy sons of bitches who they'll have it in Las Vegas 3 or 4 years in a row if they keep the price being right at the expense of the fan experience too, I might add. But yeah, Night of Champions was totally misbooked. And like I alluded to earlier, King of the Ring should be its own pay-per-view like it used to be. They should have a King and Queen of the Ring weekend. Do the Queens on Saturday. Do the Kings on Sunday. 8-person elimination tournament in a single night. That means who's ever in the finals will be wrestling 3 times. They've done it back in the day. They can do it again. It's not impossible to pull this off. Okay? The way they did King and the Queen Ring this year was stupid as all hell. Fatal 4-ways and mystery opponents who were champion prior to the King of the Ring, were champion when the King of the Ring was announced. So if they were mystery opponents, they're mystery opponents to go be number 1 contenders against their own championship. That makes a lot of fucking sense, doesn't it? That makes no sense. And speaking of making no sense, Cody Rhodes defeating Randy Orton makes no sense. This match makes no sense. The winner's supposedly facing John Cena. John Cena beat Cody and he beat Orton already. So what? We're going to see Cody versus Cena at SummerSlam? Who the fuck signed up for that? We seen it already. We hated it. The match sucked. If this is supposed to be some kind of makeup match, I don't get it. Cena obviously can't lose. So what are we doing? What are we doing? And we'll probably see Cody Cena 3 at the end of Cena's career anyway. Then we had the Rollins cash in. Look, Rollins winning Money in the Bank wouldn't have been my choice. My choice would be LA Knight. I don't mind they did a tease here. But remember Cena when he gave a promo saying, this is what this person would do, that person would do, this person would do. He said Rollins would never cash in on him or try to cash in on him because he wants Cena to take that other title with him, so then Rollins goes for the only main title left. Well, obviously, Cena, you were fucking wrong, because he did try to cash in on your ass. Was he in a hurry? No. They stood at the fucking apron for like 5 minutes taking off his sunglasses, taking off his jacket, not even in ring attire, hoping to cash in right then and there. Now, I will say, this will not go in the Angry Rant playlist, because I'm not angry enough, because I don't care enough anymore. I'm numb to the stupidity of WWE when it comes to many, many things. Why do you think I've fallen off from watching Raw? I've been fallen off from SmackDown. Wrestling in general, AEW is doing a bunch of stupid shit. Look, I don't think it should be that hard, because I've seen this done before by 2 companies, WCW and WWF, in the late 90s and the early 2000s. What did they do? They made wrestling cool. And how did they make it cool? Because they had larger than life characters who you gave a shit about what they did. And quite frankly, outside of the very slim main event scene, there is not a single fucking thing in the company to care about at all. At all. We're literally watching Cena's retirement tour, and that's all we have to hang our hat on. Why would anybody give a fuck about what's going on in the mid-card right now in WWE unless you are a total Kool-Aid drinking moron? I don't get it. Maybe I shouldn't be reviewing the product, because obviously I'm having a really negative mindset about the product. But I wouldn't have such a negative mindset if they gave a shit. They don't give a shit. Like, I can't spell it out anymore. Everything is overly produced. Everything is overly scripted. Everything is forced. There's nothing organic. There's nothing even remotely recognizable to what I loved about WWF back in the day. The further away we get from that, the further away we get from the Attitude Era, where shit was awesome. And I just have totally lost faith at this point that we will ever go back to anything close to the Attitude Era, because they just aren't trying to do that anymore. They had the women over there completely covered up because they're in Saudi fucking Arabia. Okay? You're never gonna see bra and panty matches again in WWE. You're never gonna see some of the jokes they've done, some of the funny moments they had. It's all gone. Cancel culture would eat their lunch. So then you're probably thinking, well, what about some good wrestling? You know what? Call me crazy. I can see the acrobatics in the ring and appreciate it, but when you don't give a shit about the two guys that are fighting each other in the ring and the stakes they're fighting for, all of a sudden, all that acrobatics just looks like silly playtime. In the era of mutual respect, the one thing that isn't being respected are the fans' time and hard-earned money. While heels face heels, faces face faces, and there's tweeners out your wiener, the crowd doesn't know who to chant for. They don't know who to chant against. They don't know who to get behind. They just cheer for the sake of cheering. They just go for the sake of going. But the real telltale sign is, look at those audience numbers. Look at those ratings. Look at the subs. Look at everything you can look at. All metrics when it comes to viewer happiness and TV ratings, where the barrier of entry is low, it's tanking. Tanking. Netflix is going to definitely want out of their deal at the 5-year mark. Guarantee it. Book it. When AEW is done dying its death, and WWE is the only show in town again, it'll get even worse. When Triple H is finally out, has the chief officer of content, and maybe Saudi buys them from TKO, who knows? It probably gets worse, honestly. But they're always going to sell to the highest bidder. They're always going to play it safe. They're never going to do something crazy or out of the box ever again. The fun is zapped from WWE. The fun has zapped. It's been zapped. It's never coming back. So I still do these reviews to roast the shit out of the product. And that's all there's to have fun in anymore. But these are just some off-the-cuff thoughts. What do you guys think about Night of Champions? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next one.